Yeah.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Yep. 205-964-5243. You know.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's live where we're here to talk about wholesaling real estate without using your cash or credit, form of real estate investing that's low barrier to entry. And so really no excuses if you have all of the information, which I give away on a daily basis, especially through my YouTube channel. Today's topic is how to target tired landlords to find more motivated sellers. So we'll get into that. So make sure you like this, share it. Hopefully, if you had a 3-day weekend, holiday weekend, hope you enjoyed it. You were prosperous or just doing absolutely whatever you want to do, even if that was nothing. I finished out show. I didn't know they had the last 3 episodes up of Condor. I think it's on Showtime. Really good show. 2nd season.
They should be paying you for doing all these promotions.
Condor. I ain't got to pay me. I'm enjoying it. I'm good. Yeah, we're here to answer your questions about this real estate thing. So, something I had. Where is it? If you want to join us live and get pushed to the front of the line, text the word Gator and follow the instructions in that text, and you'll get pushed to the front of the line to answer your questions on the live stream with me. Just follow the instructions in there. Huh? Oh, yeah. Make sure you read it. So, we have Jessica here to assist, Oksana in the background, Ken, she's not here. She'll be back soon. Wishing her some success in her current endeavors, but she'll be back. All right, so we got anything?
All right. This one is from Instagram, from Dios Moreno. He said, "Is the ARV the price that shows on Redfin or Zillow?"
That's what it's supposed to be, is the ARV, but you have to dive deeper because sometimes those numbers will be a little skewed because sometimes they don't take in consideration crossing over major highways and so on, which that's probably the biggest issue. Sometimes the square footage of a particular house may be a lot smaller or a lot larger than what the norm is for that particular market. So, but ideally, that's what it's supposed to be. But they allow you to dive deeper into the numbers because you can actually look at the sales that they're using to come up with that number. So, but if you text the letters ARV to 205-964-5243, in that video, I show you how to come up with ARVs.
All right. This one is from David on YouTube. He said, "Hey, Footman, how can I quit claim a property that might go into foreclosure?"
Okay, how can you quit claim a property that may go into foreclosure? You can do it, but it's not going to prevent the property from going into foreclosure. That lien takes first precedence. You know, that doesn't prevent a foreclosure. That was the case. You know, what would be the power in the foreclosure if you could just quit claim deed it over to someone?
All right. Let's see. This one is from Nika Got Assets on Instagram. She said, "Do you record all of your contracts?"
No, don't record any of them. If you mean like going down to the courthouse and record them, I don't ever do that. Somebody that must be a thing, Got Assets. I'm serious because I heard somebody saying that on a show, another show I watched this morning. That was her handle. Blank Got Assets. Okay, I'm just saying it must be a thing. Must be a thing.
All right,
It
this
won't
one.
sound good. No,
This one is from Redneck Investor. They
Uh-oh.
said, "Do you have buyers in South Pratt?"
South Pratt? What's South Pratt? Is that going toward Forestdale or back toward Inslee?
I don't know.
On which side of JO? Going toward Pratt or back toward Inslee?
That's a good question.
I don't know what the difference in South Pratt and
Yeah,
Pratt.
because Pratt ain't that
It got to be
big.
cheap. If it's Pratt, if it ain't over there in Southampton, it has to be under
They
10 grand.
said over by Sipco.
That ain't Pratt.
That's not Pratt
That's
though.
not Pratt. That's Sipco.
Mm-hmm.
That's North Birmingham / Sipco. That's not Pratt City. You got to be under 10 grand over there.
Okay. Let's see. This one is from YouTube from Ricky Todd. He said, "Hey Todd, I've never had this problem till now. When the seller wants to know my name and business name before proceeding, I don't have an LLC."
That's fine. That's fine. People buy real estate in their own name all the time. That's fine. Give them your name. That's fine. You're gonna have to put it on the contract anyway.
All right. We got somebody waiting in the chat.
Boom.
Scotty Free.
Let's do it.
Hold on. Let me take some of this stuff off so we can see you. Hello.
What's up, Flip, man? It's the Redneck Investor. I'm just on two different ones. I was on IG, now I'm on Facebook.
All right, that's what's up, man.
Hey,
We're gonna try to get this volume up. Hold on 1 second for me.
I turned it up from the other thing though.
You did. Let me see. All right, I'll put it's this right here.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right, we're back.
awesome.
Oh, we can hear you much better. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Try not to blow your ears out.
No, we good. Let's get it.
It's good to be here with you, brother. I've been following you for a long time. Started out the same place you did.
Yes, sir.
Been trying to do deals with you, but we're gonna work together. But on that
Where are
south,
you? You're in Birmingham?
yeah, I actually live down in Shelby, but Birmingham is a market I work.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir. What you got?
property I was asking about, it says South Pratt on Zillow, but it comes down and touches Inslee and Tuxedo. So it's to the right of Sherman Heights and below what they're calling North
What's the
Pratt.
zip code? What's the zip code?
The zip code on it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 35214.
That's Pratt.
So
That's
I
Pratt.
just on here it actually shows North and South Pratt, which I'd never seen till today either.
Yeah. I don't know the difference between North and South. I'm sure some of my Prattians will educate me. Prattitians will educate me on the difference.
Yeah, it's a little closer to Village Creek. It's down on the end of it.
Yeah, over there if it's not in Southampton or Pratt, it's gonna have to probably be under 10 grand, and that may not still be cheap enough.
Okay.
Just depends. Is it livable, or can you tell?
Yeah, I want to say yes, but I'm going in the morning to look at it. I got a lockbox on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Going over and take pictures. Mainly what I was trying to do was recently had some properties come in the Pratt area, and I was, trying to find a few buyers, and wasn't having any luck. And of course, you got to dig deep. And
that's why it got to be really cheap over there.
Yeah.
And the condition will make it, you might have to even get it cheaper. It's possible.
Okay.
I've done a few deals over there over the years, but you got to get them really cheap over there in Pratt. Again, unless it's in Southampton.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it was probably going to be something like that. And just
send me, you got photos of it?
I will have in the morning. I'm going in the morning to look at it and take photos.
You got my other number?
I got one. Well, I think I do. I got a different number till you swap to this one.
The 492 number. Just text me on that one or call me on that one.
I'll do it. Hey, I appreciate being on your call here and talking to you for once. It's just great talking to you, and I'd love to bring you some value if I can. So if you need something, give me a shout.
Yeah, well, hit me up. We could definitely do something together. You're hitting the market, man. That makes it a lot easier to to network and make some money together when you're right here in the back on that back door. We're right here in River Chase, so we're not far from you.
Okay, brother. I appreciate it. Maybe I can break some bread with you one day and we'll have a conversation and
Yeah,
look forward to working with you.
Yeah, we can go up to the fish market.
That'll work. Hey, my favorite place to go, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for having me, and I enjoy your show.
All right, thanks, man. Just hit me up.
Okay. I sure will. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Again, the Redneck Investor joined us by texting the word Gator. If you do the same, just follow the instructions in the once you get the text back, if you want to join us live and get pushed to the front of the line.
All right. This one came from Instagram, jmills_investor. He said, do you still assign contracts or just lock in your own deals?
You mean just still wholesale? Yeah, I've done it all. I've flipped, I've had rentals. I don't really want to do any of that in houses. Anything that I do as a buy and hold is going to be commercial related, at any point. Now, I'm still not where I want to be on that, but I have no interest in houses. All right. Now, multifamily is different, 5+ units or more commercial, whatever, even some duplexes or whatever. I'll take a more closer look at it, but I just have some different objectives. I like to target things that most people are not targeting, right? That's the way I like to normally operate. The reason I like wholesaling is well, for most people, the gradual process is to start wholesaling, graduate from that, and start flipping, and then maybe doing some rentals or whatever. That's fine. It works or whatever. But yeah, it's just hard for me to let go of that return on investment with wholesaling. Spend $100, make $10,000. Well, you can't even sell dope and get those type of returns. So not that I'm aware of. Anybody out there, I don't do it, but I've never did anything but from my understanding. And so and the movies I watch, you can't get that type of return. So but yeah, so that's the main thing. But you make money with all, just whatever wets your beak or whatever. So
all right. 900 Prada from YouTube said, can you call for sale by owners directly on Zillow and talk directly to the owner?
Of course. Yeah, their phone number is there. Yeah, that's what they want you to do, is to reach out to them. Now, properties that are already listed on Zillow or just properties listed, period, are difficult. Now, understand now, I would say probably the majority of the property, well, I know it is. The majority of the properties that are for sale on Zillow are listed with real estate agents, but they do have a filter or an option where you could just only look at for sale by owner properties. So I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. But yeah, they want to sell, you want to buy, so you're halfway there. But as far as wholesaling, it makes it a little bit more difficult because the property is already being heavily advertised. With Zillow is basically the Google of residential real estate. So, but it can be done. Just understand that it takes some of your superpower away if they don't remove that listing and their contact information is still out there and you have it under contract, even though you may have negotiated a price a lot less than what's shown online. Hopefully you can get them to take the ad down, but sometimes people won't do it just because they look for backup offers or whatever, just in case you don't close. So if you could jump through those hurdles, have the right type of buyer, and other people don't blow your deal up or whatever, because what happened is when something is advertised on Zillow, and when I've done it in the past, and I've done this before, and I don't recommend anyone, well, I ain't even gonna say that, but what happened is people will just go to the address. And you tell them not to go to the address, and they'll still go to the address. Now, if it's vacant, that's one thing, but if the person or someone still lives there, it could just blow your deal up. Not saying that the seller would want to participate in going behind your back or whatever, or the person that you're talking to, that may not even be their intent. They just might not understand that when they get there and they meet the owner, well, hey, this person says they are the one that's trying to sell this property. It just could blow your deal and it just be totally innocent. Now, you're going to have those out there that are trying to actually blow your deals up by taking it or whatever. So, point being, you could do it. It's just normally a little bit more difficult, especially for newbies starting out. There are easier deals out there. The reason we talk about all these different methods of generating leads like text messaging, driving for dollars, door knocking, bandit signs, cold calling, Facebook ads, Google AdWords, other wholesalers, because we're trying to find properties that are not for sale anywhere on the internet. And the reason we do that, because now you can find a great deal and you get it under contract. Now you just charge your superpower as a wholesaler, because now everyone has to come through you, right? In order, if they want that deal, for the time frame that you and the seller have agreed upon, if that makes sense.
All right, this one is from YouTube. He said, on your contract, why do you have a space for the social security number?
I don't know. It needs to be removed.
Okay.
I should have removed it a long time. Whenever I got my web developer to put it on digulator.com, I should have told him to remove it then. But it's just put NA there, not applicable, not applicable.
Okay, this one is from TikTok. His name is Matthew. He said, what's a good way to find your market starting out, especially virtually?
If you're trying to start out virtually and you're trying to pick a market, if at all possible, you already have a relationship with someone that's, number one, interested in the business, or at least willing to work with you, maybe a family member, a friend, maybe another wholesaler, maybe a real estate agent. If you have that in place, then that's going to probably be a market that you will want to start in, because you will need boots on the ground in some form of fashion just to do some of the minor things when you're trying to wholesale virtually. So you can use the power of social media to accomplish that. So you may pick out 10 cities and start reaching out to individuals in all of those Facebook groups for those markets, and see who will be willing to partner with you. And from there, you're just interviewing, filtering out who's going to probably make it happen and who's not. So I don't really get into one market better than another. I'm sure there's no data out there, but at the end of the day, deals are still being closed in every city of definitely any decent size in this country, and a lot of them are being closed. You just need the numbers to play out as far as what you're doing is generating leads on a daily basis. Because I don't care what city you're in, people still die. What city you're in, people still get divorced, lose their jobs or income, tired landlords. You know where I'm going. If you watch me, you know what I'm about to say. So just do your thing and let them know you exist.
All right. Mad Property Solutions on Instagram asked, they said the father-in-law passed, mother-in-law wants to sell the house to me. What's the best way to do this?
Okay, so this is I'm assuming wife or a husband, whoever we're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a family member. You just got to find out what they want to sell it for first. Number one, you have to establish a price no different than anyone else. Now, if you try for the purpose of wholesaling, you're still going to have to get it cheap, whether you're dealing with them or whoever. Now, it could be a little, what's the word? Dicey dealing with relatives or friends when you start talking about doing deals. So the end game may not be a wholesale deal. They may want more than what makes sense. So they may give you an opportunity to do some owner financing where they act as the bank, depending on if they owe anything or not. It'll determine what method would be used to accomplish that. So, but at the end of the day, it starts out with, number one, they want to sell. Number two, what's their least amount they want to sell it for? Then you have to run your numbers to see if there's an opportunity there to wholesale it if that's your end game.
All right. Can you flip houses in California without a license?
Yes.
Let's see. This guy, LaShawn, he said, hey, just checking on the storage leads that he sent in.
LaShawn, I thought I was caught up with yours. I'll take a look at it when we finish. Just send me a reminder. But I thought I was caught up with yours, though.
All right. CJ Madden from YouTube said markets in tri-state areas are difficult, especially designated areas to sell. And what about auctions?
I'm not understanding.
Are markets in the tri-state area hard?
What tri-state? What's the tri-state area?
Give us a little clarification.
Yeah, what's that? That's New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey? I don't know. What's the tri-state area?
All right, we have someone in the chat. Hold on. Let me take this one. Brenda. Hello.
Hi.
Brenda.
Hi, how's it going?
Uh,
I'm just, huh?
yeah, where are you live streaming from?
Illinois.
Illinois. What's happening?
Yeah. I was watching one of your videos and because I'm just getting started out.
Yes, ma'am.
I purchased the accelerated wholesale yesterday, but when I was watching your video, I came across that you said like Illinois, you have to have a license to practice wholesaling, but then you was like you have to go through something in order to make it like illegal for me to be doing what I'm doing.
You want me to break that down for you?
Yes, I need you to break it down.
All right, all right. All right. So in the state of, if you don't know what Brenda, what was Brenda? Okay, Miss Brenda is referring to, in the state of Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, I think, and the city of Philadelphia, which they only require you to have a wholesaler's license, which is more like a business license. So it's not as a difficult task as trying to get an actual real estate agent's license or real estate broker's license. All right. So what they're saying is that I know in the state of Illinois, you can wholesale one house per year, if my understanding, without having a license. All right. So some people like myself, at this point in my life, I would probably be incapable of passing a test of that magnitude. Right. Just too much stuff in my head. And if I'm not interested in it, it's going to be very difficult for me to retain it enough to pass a test. So with that being said, right, when the laws are created, you're going to have individuals like myself that are going to be a little innovative to still act within the law without actually doing what they say you're supposed to be doing. So agents, brokers, real estate agents buy all types of services, from business cards to signage, like the bandit sign that they put eggs in the yard. They buy leads. They do a great deal of marketing through Facebook. They may even have some cold calling going. They're going to do direct mail. So they're paying for services all the time. All right. One of the main services that they'll pay for is a website. But normally it's just a website for their individual business itself, but not for individual properties. So what you would do as a wholesaler and say, well, I don't want to get a license. Well, what's the alternative? And the good thing about this is, Ms. Brenda, is that most people, when they hear you need a license now, you're in the state of Illinois, they're just going to say, well, I'm not going to do it here. That's a good thing for you, the ones that still want to pursue it, because here's why. All right, so what you would do is, number one, well, just understand this about real estate, just period, or any business. You know, there are going to be a lot of registered real estate brokers or agents or in any market. A lot of them are not making money, right? So they're struggling agents or brokers. So what I would do, my first mission is I'm going to be out on a hunt to see if someone will be willing to partner with me, so I can basically use their license to filter my deals through. Okay, so assuming you find that individual, so what you would do, you start your web development / marketing firm. So each property that you find and you figure out it's a great deal, it's time to go on the contract, to go in the agent's name or however that's done. You would create a website for each one of those properties. Okay, so how do you create a website? So the first thing you need to do is register the website name, or aka domain name is the actual technical term for it. One place you can go, there's a ton of places you could do it, but GoDaddy.com, probably the most popular. GoDaddy.com. You go there and say the address of the house is 1723 Jordan Street. All right. So you will go register 1723 Jordan Street.com or .net, .biz, .info, doesn't matter. All right. Now you would take advantage of one of the free web building sites. Free website builders, Wix.com, Wix.com, or Weebly.com, Weebly.com, I think is the way it's spelled. All right, and what you would do is post video and photos of the property on that website that you would build. You don't know how to, I don't know how to do that. YouTube is your friend. Everything that I just explained, YouTube will go into great detail on how to do every phase of that. All right. So now you have the site built. So now when you have the property under contract, we'll just say for $100,000. All right. And you market it for, we'll say 130. You have an investor steps to you, say, hey, I can't do 130, but I can do, I don't know, 122 for it. Okay. So now you have contract A with the seller for 100,000, contract B with the buyer for 122. So you all have agreed to do a 50-50 split on those deals just for using their license or whatever to sign off on. So whenever you all close on it, you will invoice the title company or closing attorney with the agent signing off on it, the broker, that you're invoicing them for the purchase of 1723 jordanstreet.com for $11,000. So whenever they close on the deal, they cut a check to the seller for their portion. They cut a check to the real estate broker or agent for their portion. They cut a check to you for your $11,000. Boom.
Okay.
Cash out.
Okay. And then I also want to, yeah, that makes sense to me. But I also said, like, since I stay in Illinois, I can pursue wholesaling anywhere
Oh yeah,
else outside of Illinois?
yeah. See,
Okay.
that's only related to real estate in the state of Illinois. They can't, they don't care about anything outside of that or whatever. So yeah, you can definitely virtual wholesaling. You can definitely do that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's all I have for right now.
You say you're
Thank
part
you.
of the accelerator now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you later on at 6.
Yep. At 6
All right.
o'clock.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay.
Most often that the top one is the one.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Okay.
All right. This one came from Instagram. They said, what's a good way to find good direct mail examples?
Good direct mail examples. Go to mail2flip.com. Mail, M-A-I-L, the number 2, flip.com. Or if you want to talk to my guys that we use when we do direct mail, they're experts. They deal with investors all over the country that send out 100,000 pieces a month. So they know what they're doing. I mean, like one investor may do that. So they know what they're doing. They'll have a real consultation with you about direct mail and what works and what doesn't work. And a lot of times in your exact city, they can tell you what's working, right? And so just text text the word mail, M-A-I-L, and I'll send you over the information for Ryan and Corey over at Graphics Connections in St. Louis, Missouri. And remember, if you want to come on the live stream, get your questions answered, text the word Gator, and just follow the instructions that you receive back.
And make sure you have your camera and mic turned on.
That's in the instructions.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Because even though it's there, don't they do it?
Read it. You're right.
All right, this one is from Zay on YouTube. He said, is there any way to virtually wholesale without boots on the ground?
Yeah, you can do it as you need it. See, one of the main reasons you're going to probably need some assistance is sometimes you're going to have situations where the seller is still either living there or a renter is there, or they just simply don't want to give you access to the property, period, without them being there. So now when you send buyers out there and you don't have relationships with buyers that you can trust with, that's going to happen as a virtual wholesaler. When the buyer and the seller meet out there and you don't have anyone out there representing you, that may not turn out well sometimes. So that's what we mean by that. So you can do that in spots if needed. Ideally, if you're going to be doing multiple deals or trying to really target a market for a long period of time, you really need someone there assisting you sometimes, even if it's just for that or whatever. So.
All right. The Real Big Shaky from TikTok asked, how did you start and how much did you have to invest with?
Good question. All right. So I knew nothing about real estate, but I like to think, I like to call myself an entrepreneur. at that point with no success though, but I had the mindset. So I got introduced to it by accident, like a lot of things will happen with people when it comes to business opportunities. One of my friends and his now wife were going to school to become real estate agents. And the guy that normally taught the class wasn't there. The substitute, Don Williams, he's passed on now. The guy that substituted for that night didn't talk about being a realtor per se. He talked about being a real estate investor and creative ways of real estate investing with no money. So my friend, knowing me from college and all the stuff that I tried while we were in college, he mentioned it to me. That was in October of 2002. And I didn't do anything with it. So a couple of months later, long story short, I'm not going to go through that entire drive. I got other video that break it down. But long story short, in December, late December of 2002, saw an infomercial, got inspired to look into it more, bought a course online. That course cost me, well, I bought a bootleg version of a course, right, for $400, basically a copy of it for $400 that normally costs $1,500. Listened to that course, took me about 3 weeks. The next thing I did is bought some bandit signs after listening to that course. That's one of the things that stuck out to me. I spent $250 on that. And basically the first 2 calls I got were deals. One of them was a lease option opportunity that blew up in my face. The other one was a wholesale deal that actually completed, made $2,500. From the time that I put out those first set of signs, which was maybe the first week of February, and I closed my first deal the first week of March in 2003 or whatever. So literally 30 days, I had made that 2,500. I guess if you subtract the 650 from that, what did I make? 1850, something like that. Yeah, 1850. So I had 1850 in the black. That's good, ain't it?
That's good. It wasn't zero.
I never broke those numbers down. So yeah, 1850 in the black from the course and the bandit sign. So that was 650. Yeah, that's right. That should be right.
So I guess this kind of answers that question. But he asked, do you think it's possible to do this within 3 months?
Oh yeah, very possible.
It is.
Yeah, very possible.
All right. This one says, hey, Ty, I'm thinking about virtual wholesaling. How do I get boots on the ground? We already answered that, right? He said, that'll go to the property and get pictures, meet the seller without stealing my deal.
Yeah,
I think this one says how. The other one said, the other question was, can I do it without? This one is asking, how can I do it?
I explained that earlier too, though.
Okay.
I was saying going through Facebook. I probably hit on it twice already.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
All right. This one says, is the new situation with the MLS on PropStream making it harder to wholesale, or is that only for the people using the MLS?
Yeah, I was talking to one of our special guests in the studio office today. We were talking about why are people tripping about that, and
yeah, we get that
and
question.
like the information is still there. It's just before they made it easier if you wanted to separate the MLS listed properties from the public properties. Now, all properties that are sale are public records. So it's all on the public records the way it's set up right now. So it really doesn't make any difference. And in reality, it makes no difference. Now, let me back up. If you're in a non-disclosure state, it makes a difference, right? Now, even though they're still going to provide info to give you an idea of what a property sold for, but in non-disclosure states, that information is not public record. So we listed those. Most of those states are very small, but you do have your Texas. I think Missouri is another one. But we listed them last week or whatever. But a lot of them like Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming. I don't even know if we ever took a call from any of those places. So they don't like us.
All right. Is it worth reaching out to a property that says it's owned by an LLC that came from Instagram?
Well, yeah, you can still do it. At the end of the day, a human being is still behind it. Now, those tend to be a little bit more difficult to do sometimes, but at the end of the day, a human being is still behind it. They still get divorced. They still die. I can go down the list of life situations. It just, sometimes they're harder to find is the biggest issue, is that it's not as easy to skip trace them. Now, sometimes if they're an actual business location that's local, obviously you can send them something in the mail, but sometimes if you really want to get at that property or whatever, just go knock on the door. Hey, introduce yourself and what you're there for. Remember, offers are free.
Okay, Justified or Not said that they had a scheduled training call for 11. They didn't receive a call. Is there something I'm supposed to do other than provide the phone number?
Just text me on that because I'm really not sure what you're talking about, but just text me on that. We'll try to figure it out.
All right. This one says, can I use your batch leads?
Oh, and then just check your email too, because a lot of times we respond and let you know if there was a change, if it is what I think it is. Can I use your batch leads?
Yeah, I was a little iffy about reading that one.
I'm not sure what you mean. If you want to use the affiliate link, because I am an affiliate of those, I would love for you to follow it. Just go to what should she go? Go to text to flip, text TXT2, the number 2, flip.com. That'll take you straight there. Text to flip.com.
Okay. Is not having proof of funds a deal breaker?
Not having proof of funds a deal breaker. Well, it depends on who you're dealing with. If the seller is requiring that, and normally that means you're probably dealing with a property that's listed, and because that's like, two things an agent is going to want. Well, the main thing, the first thing I want to know is, have you been pre-approved, right? Proof of funds, basically. And so the other thing is they're going to normally want at least $1,000. That's not a law or anything, but that's like their way of seeing if you're serious or not. As far as earnest money deposit, $1,000 earnest money. You can get away with $500. You can get away with $1, but they normally not going to take you serious. And ethically, you're supposed to still accept that, right, Kelly? If someone writes it up that way, it's just that when they go back to the seller, how would they influence the seller when they go back to him? Like, by law, I have to present this to you, but they only want to put up $10 earnest money deposit. We're not taking this, So that influence, the seller might be cool with that, but because the agent is influenced, yeah. So, but if you're dealing with an actual person that the owner wants proof of funds, I would be shocked if that's a deal. It just doesn't work that way. Well, someone is motivated to sell a piece of real estate cheap enough that you can wholesale it, normally they're not asking for proof of funds. It just doesn't work that way. Now, it may be another wholesaler or if it's an investor, but again, I'd be shocked if the numbers work. I would love to hear what's the ARV and what's the price.
So if they don't know about it, should you ask?
What?
About proof of funds.
Who?
If they don't know about it, should you just not worry about it? I think that's what people be wanting to know.
What do you mean? Who? The seller?
Yeah.
No, you're not going to. Why would you bring it up? You wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah,
so if they don't know nothing about it, should you just do
she's
something?
asking if a seller doesn't bring up proof of funds, should you bring it up? No. Even if you got it. No. No.
All right. This one's from Instagram. They said, what's the best way to go about finding investors? I've run Facebook ads, but no luck.
That's an interesting way to try to find. Do they mean sellers? But I'll answer the question. But they said investors, which means buyers. I guess that could work if you know who to target. If you could hone in on yeah, I guess that could work, but it'd be tough. But the answer, because you say the best way. Facebook ads ain't one of them. Let me just say that. It's too expensive, number one. But a couple of ways to go about it. Oh, turn that down. The heat still on. Y'all didn't turn it down? I thought y'all said it was hot in here.
I don't think it's on. It's just what it said on. Yeah.
No, that's it. It's running. You hear it? I can feel it.
Yeah, but you feel it?
Yeah. So we're good. So how to find buyers. Now, first thing, you could text the word buyers to the 205-964-5243. And in that video, I show you how to leverage real estate agents. I normally talk crazy about them on the seller side, but on the buyer side, how to leverage real estate agents to help you produce buyers pretty much in any market. In that video, I show you how. But assuming you don't want to go that route, okay, a couple of ways to go about it. Now, if you have a property under contract already, then, and it's a great deal, that's one of the best ways to build a buyer's list. Because if it's a great deal and you're just putting it in the normal places, Facebook groups, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, putting signs out in the area that you're handwritten, house for sale, 85,000 cash, phone number, call or text, you can only sell it to one person, right? 20 may call you. Those other 19, you're going to have conversations with them. Number one, to see, are they really buyers? But if they are, assuming they all are. All right, so when you have that conversation, what you're doing is just collecting information to help build your list just from that deal. And when I say their information, obviously their name and contact information, what areas they like to buy in, what price range, how many do they like to buy per month, what's the minimum square footage or number of bedrooms and bath they like to deal with, minimum level of repairs they like to deal with. And so boom, from that one deal, even though you probably made money with it by selling it, because of all the activity that property created, because it was such a great deal, now you have a buyer's list just from that one deal. So guess what? When you get another one, even if you have a buyer or not, a lot of times it's just good to go ahead and market the property, even if just for a couple of days, because it may be an opportunity to meet new investors to the game, or even wholesalers that could be strong and be good for you down the road at some point. Now, assuming you don't have a property under contract, now texting the word buyers, that video will really help with that. But now it's going to be all about networking at that point. Now you could you can do this whether you have a buyer or not, but you can just simply go to Google and do a search, sell my house fast, and whatever the name of the city is. Those first 2 or 3 pages of results are going to be some strong investors, whether they're wholesalers and or actual buyers. Because to get on that first page, couple of pages of Google, especially if you're in the ad section in the top 4, bottom 3, that costs bread. All right. If you organically got there, that some of us luck, but a lot of times they spent money to get there too. So those are normally going to be really good players in your market. You should attend any auctions, depending on how it's set up in your state. Here in Jefferson County, they literally auction properties off at the courthouse. So that's somewhere you should go and network. All right. You definitely want to take advantage of dealing with other wholesalers. You want to attend, and I should have said this in the other part of it, all real estate investment clubs in your area. Some of them are better than others. You'll soon be able to figure out which ones, but you want to attend those areas because that's where a lot of investors hang out at, real estate investment meetings, or RIAs as they call them. What is that? Or real estate investment associations. Yeah, RIAs. So, yeah, there you go.
All right. What's the price per skip trace to call a homeowner to ask about purchasing the property?
Well, depends on what service you're using. Now, if you use Skip to Flip, it'll take you to Skip Vault. For one search single search is like 50 cents. If you're using PropStream and you're using the app version and you're only doing like one skip, now you're not doing a mass skip of multiple property owners, then it's 10 cents if you're doing it from the app or whatever. And I think batch may be 50 cents also, I think. I'm not sure. I've used the skip in a while. I don't think I've ever used batch as a single skip. I've used it for multiples.
All right. This one came from Corey from YouTube. They said, if I have a property under contract / assignment, can the seller or another potential wholesaler hijack the deal?
Well, you can always have another wholesaler, or you can even another investor to try to hijack your deal. But hijacking can mean a couple of things. They literally steal the deal in some form or fashion, which if you papered up, you could follow it up in court if you wanted to, or just by them trying to take your deal could blow up your deal, where the seller don't want to deal with either one of you all. That will happen more than the other, because most people know if they sign something, they need to stick to it. Most people are reasonable, especially when it comes to simple business like that. So they know they need to give you time to do what you do, but they may be to the point where they're uncomfortable with dealing with you, depending on what that person says to them or whatever. So yeah, it's possible. It doesn't happen that often, or whatever. But that's because that's purpose of your contract. And most people know taking those methods could, not be worth it, just legal fees, if nothing else. So, and what comes after that if they lose. So.
All right. Kyle Brown asked, what's a good number of cold calling and texting should we focus on when you're trying to find a seller?
Man, that could be all over the board, man. Depending on what you're using, also, what tools are you using? Assuming you're using a dialer or a platform, if you text the word text to the TEXT, that's text the word text, TEXT, to 205-964-5243. I'll show you how to put that together. But with the text messaging, really, if you're using the right platform, 150 to 250 is enough a day. All right. But with the cold calling, 1,000 plus needs to be done if you're using a dialer. Between 1,000 to 3,000 would probably be ideal, at least.
All right. This one says, it's from Michelle on YouTube. She said, hey, Flip Man, have you ever done a wholesale with a realtor when they have the listing or the buyer? How did you structure it?
I have. I did it just to see if I could do it a couple of times. Not a habit. But when you're dealing with an agent, it is possible to do that. I don't want people to think that that's not what I'm saying, but for wholesaling. But it's just more difficult. And by asking the question, I normally know you don't need to go down that road, but I guess you're trying to find out how. So I'm gonna go through it. I normally refer you to a video on this, but I feel good today. So just understand from the jump. Now it's gonna sound like I'm being negative, but I'm gonna fill it in where it's possible. But from the beginning, you and a real estate agent are at odds at each other when you're trying to put a deal together. Because the more they sell it for, the more they make. The cheaper you get, the more you make. Just basics right there. All right. So now you got to get the agent to realize, hey, you still can make more. You deal with me and let me get the price I want. Just listen to me. But okay, so the next thing is they're going to want proof of funds. We just talked about this a second ago, to even take you serious in most cases. All right. Ideally, they're going to want at least $1,000. It is nowhere it's written it has to be that, but that's just their way of preventing themselves from wasting time on stuff that has no chance of being a deal in their mind. Assuming you can get past all of that, you got $1,000, you got proof of funds. All right, now the next thing is, again, negotiating a price that works. So with the agent, and if it's a dual state where an agent can represent the seller and the buyer, then the way you just gonna have to be just totally transparent as far as the numbers with them. You may have to just put it in the writing so they can see it immediately. Say they're asking the listing price is $100,000. So normally an agent is going to list at 6%. All right, so 6% on $100,000 is $6,000, right? But it's not normal for. Is there a number? Is there like a national number? As far as agents bringing an agent listing a property and finding a buyer for it, is there like a number out there that's known on how often that happens versus another agent bringing a buyer to the table?
There's actually dual agency situations.
Yeah, where they listed it and they find the buyer for it too. Is there like a number out there that says, this percentage of listings, the same agent finds the seller and the buyer? Yeah, I'm gonna say it's lower.
It's very low.
Yeah, it's very low. Normally, that's part of what MLS is, so they can basically network amongst other agents. And it was very valuable before the internet, right? More valuable before the internet because that was the way they communicate what properties were available. So they depend on other agents to bring them a deal. So with that being said, so that 6% now has to be split. So it goes to 3%. So now they were going to make $3,000 on that particular deal. Okay, so $100,000 at 3% is $3,000. Okay, so now you approach them and say, hey, I want to make an offer of $60,000. I'm not bringing my own agent to the table, assuming it's not it's a dual agency is okay in that state. And 60 times 6% is what? 3,600. So in reality, they would make $600 more if the seller is willing to take $40,000 less, right? So how does that conversation? So if the agent understands that from the beginning And when they go to the seller to present the offer to them, it's two what's the word? It's two it's two lanes they could go down. One of them is if they go to the seller, say they're lowballing us. I got to let you know about it. I'm obligated, by law to let you know about it. I know we can do better. And then the seller say, okay, we can wait. All right. Or they go back to the seller. I thought we could get that 100. I don't know if we can do better than this $60,000 offer we're getting. I think we should take it. A lot of times the seller say, okay. they are listening to the professional. So if the agent understands, that's $600 more than what they were going to probably make, because they know it's rare that they're going to be able to find a buyer for that particular listing. So now you have something here. You got a 40% discount off that property that was listed for $100,000. Now that's now that's something that is a discount. Whereas a lot of times in the agent world, they'll think a discount off $100,000 is down to $97,500. Nah, that ain't a discount in our world. A discount is down to 60, 100 to a 60. That's a discount. So assuming you can do all of that, then boom, the world is yours. You can make it happen. So.
10 to 20% of agents represent both sides.
Oh wow! So it's 10 to 20% of agents represent both sides. So basically, 80% or more of the deals out there, they depend on another agent to bring a buyer to the table. So yeah, so they'll get it. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you email or text them, you literally may have to break the numbers down so they can see it. You know what I'm saying? So, because they may never even think about it like that. Somebody like me, I just, adding and plus and, I can run the numbers quick. Oh, yeah, I make more money this way. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a 40% discount off the property or whatever. So, who's next?
Let me know when you want to do the topic.
What time is it? What we're at?
52
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
we can go into the top. Yeah, we can go to the top because we didn't get to do our thing. All right, so topic for today is how to target tired landlords to find more motivated sellers. Okay, so the largest group, I don't have any numbers on this. I think I'm gonna be right, just from experience and others I've dealt with. The largest group of individuals that are going to be motivated to sell real estate cheap are going to be tired landlords. Guess why? They own most of the real estate, because normally the property that they're renting is not the property that they live in normally. So a person that owns multiple properties, those individuals, that class of people are going to own most of the real estate. All right, so being a landlord can be very profitable. And most people, real estate, have built their wealth through cash flow, whether it's residential or commercial. Okay, so we're talking about houses, so we're talking about residential. Now, it ain't for everybody, right? And some people may do it for years, decades, and at some point they just say, "Hey, enough is enough. I made my money, and I want to be out." And so, you as a new wholesaler or just a wholesaler or a real estate investor in general, the reason we like to target those individuals is because we're targeting individuals that this is the third time that they've had to actually evict someone in the last year to 18 months. And depending on the state, that could be a long process. And you have professional renters out there that know how to take advantage of the law. So now what happens when you have to evict someone? So you go through the court process, may have to spend a little bread to do that, and then you finally get them out, but they hadn't paid you in 4 months. So in that situation, what condition is the house left in? So now you haven't received any income on it, and they were not the cleanest tenants anyway, but once they stopped paying rent and know you were going to try to pull them out, they took that to another level, right? And so now you got to go back in and renovate the house. All right, so now whatever money you may have collected from that particular tenant over what time frame, you may be in the red on that. You know, so that's one situation. It may be a situation where daddy had 7 houses and daddy fed us off of those 7 houses, put us through college through those 7 houses. But guess what? A lot of times kids don't want to do what daddy did or mama did or whatever. So when you reach out to them, daddy has passed on or whatever the situation, they've gained ownership through some method because maybe illness or, as I said, death. And they don't care because they didn't put any blood and sweat into it. That was daddy's thing. And so you reach out to them and you reaching out to them about one property. They say, yeah, we'll sell this. We got 6 more. We got 6 more just like it, you know, that they may be willing to sell as a discount. That's another situation. Another one is daddy, again, well, husband in this situation, same thing. Got 10 properties. And the wife had no clue what was really going on. All she knows, she benefited off of it in the family. Or whatever. He passes on. She knew he had some properties, but she didn't even know it was 10 of them. And so when she starts receiving the information, maybe from the attorney, he might have a will or whatever, and say, well, you know, Jim had, 10 properties. You know, I thought he had just 3 or whatever. And so, boom, she didn't know anything to do with him, right? And he may have been ill for some time. They may have been vacant for the last 2 years. And so now, when they go actually out to look at the properties, the family, her and one of the kids or somebody go out and look and say, oh, wow, this is some trash. You know, and they may, in their mind, they may be like, oh, we wouldn't have never lived over here, blah, blah, blah. So in their mind, you know, they basically ready to give these properties away based on whatever research they may do. Or they just may have a number. They may not have a number at all. All they know is they just want to sell them, but they hadn't even looked into it right now because money is really not a big deal. But when you reach out to them by direct mail, cold call, text messaging, or they may see one of your bandit signs or something. Now, when you talk to them and they say, well, we're not sure what we want to sell them for. We're just taking an offer for you. You're the first one to reach out to us about them. All right. So when you come back and you come with your number because they force you into making an offer because they didn't have any idea, they say, okay, yeah, we'll take that. Now, I hate when they do that because that means that they be like, when you say that and before you can get it out the price, they say we'll take that. That means they probably would have took a lot less. Not being greedy, just want what's due to me. So anyway, those are 3 like scenarios. I can go on why targeting landlords that potentially could be tired landlords that could become very profitable as you as a wholesaler. So whenever you're doing list, a lot of times the reason that you do absentee owner is because, or non-owner occupied, is because you can only have one homestead, right? Everything else that you own is considered absentee or non-owner occupied, and a lot of times those are landlords. So that's why that's one of the filters that's probably used more than anything whenever you're building lists, is targeting properties where it's not the house that they live in. It's an additional property or properties that they actually own. So it's just a numbers game. So now when you're reaching out to these individuals or when you're driving for dollars, I can just use that layer. I didn't say that when I mentioned other forms of marketing. When you're driving for dollars, you're obviously looking for vacant houses. But again, I say it all the time, pay attention to those red and white, black and white, orange, black and white for rent signs, because normally that's the owner. They bought those signs at either Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot, and has their phone number there. So when you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm calling to see if this property at 123 Main Street is still available, whether they say yes or no, you say, well, I'm really not calling about renting your property. I'm calling about calling to see if you would be interested in selling it. If they say yes, you collect the information needed to evaluate the property, and hopefully you all can come up with an offer that makes sense for both of you all. All right, if they say no, your follow-up question should be, well, are there any other properties that you may like to sell? And the reason you ask that question, is because the property that you're calling them on may not be the problem property. They may have another or multiple properties that are. Okay, assuming they say no, they don't, then you just thank them for the time, let them know if anything changes to give you a call back. So tired landlords, that's going to be the largest group from my experience and others I've dealt with of individuals that'll be potential motivated sellers, which you know what motivated sellers turn into is fat, you know what, paydays. Boom. So what we got? That's all I gotta say about that.
What time we doing the thing with?
Yeah, we need to go and break it down.
Okay. How many more you want to do?
Maybe a couple more.
Okay. Let's see. This one's from Marie. She said, I would like to do virtual wholesaling. My question is, when I find properties out of state, do I have to go to that state to close the deal?
No, that's one of the benefits or attractiveness of virtual wholesaling. You use just technology, email, overnight mail to put deals together. So no, you don't have to be there.
All right. This one came from YouTube. Also, they said, how do I set up the tools needed to automate a system for qualified sellers to call my phone directly? I have the time. I'm just starting and confused of the steps to automate quality leads.
When you say automate quality leads, you could put tools, people in place to make your process more efficient. But it's not like you're just going to put it there and just deals going to fall out. I'm assuming you're not meaning that. So we can tool you to death. It's just going to depend on what form of marketing are you going to use to generate leads. So you have to decide that first. And then there are going to be tools out there to make the entire process easier as far as technology. But at the end of the day, everything still has to be worked. And you just have to have the proper tools and people in place based on what forms of marketing you're going to use to generate daily leads. I know that's a vague answer, but it was a vague question, so I can't really dive deeper.
Oh, okay. This one says, when dealing with a fire damaged property, what else would you add into the formula to stay safe?
Well, at the end of the day, fire damaged property is repairs or are repairs. So, you know, sometimes they can't be saved. It can be that damaged. Sort of, I ain't gonna say it's easy to tell that, but a lot of times you can just tell. Sometimes just smoke damage, you know, maybe a little water damage when I'm putting it out or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's still just repairs. So now just going to boil back down to ARV times the 70% or whatever number you're using minus repairs. So in order to come up with those repairs, you could send a contractor or two out on a fire damaged property and they'll give you a bid. You may have sent out one of the fire and restoration people out there to give you a bid on what it would cost. Now, they may be a little higher because a lot of times they know insurance will be involved and whatever. But if you want to go about it that way, or you could just still use the formula. If you think it can be saved in the sense you don't have to come back up with a new construction, you could probably just do $50 a square foot, and you'll probably be on the good side of a number as far as repairs and round up to the nearest 5 or 0.
More?
No, we're good.
Okay.
All right, so guys, we've been rolling pretty good here. We got a 5 o'clock Zoom. What I was trying to do? What am I missing? On the where is it?
Which one?
Self-storage. Make sure you want to partner with me on that. Text the word units to the number. The video you get back will explain how we can get down. Remember, you can text 5050 houses. The video I put out the other day on building list, if you text the word tool, no S, that video, that link will show you where you can sign up to use the same tool to do that with. And we do offer a 30-minute training on actually how to use it also. So we got it in. We didn't give any money. We got the way today. Didn't give away any money today. We're probably going to do so tomorrow. So I'm not sure what else I can say. You can post your question in the comment section of any video if you didn't get yours answered. All this will go in the replay mode right after we finish on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So hopefully we'll be here tomorrow, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then then I'll text you back.
TikTok, you don't stop.
I will help you make your paper stack.
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now?
205-964-52439.
Yep.
205